Welcome back to Dragonfire Creations. Today's title is going to be Ramblings from the Forge. I got asked a very interesting question on Threads by someone who very much believes in automation and mass production. The question was something like, what drives me to do what I do? I've been tripping over that answer for a couple days. This is the fourth time trying to make this video, trying to answer that guy. And you know what? The only answer I can come up with is, yeah, mass production and automation, that's all fine and dandy if you want cheap disposable crap. And if you're in it to make a lot of money. Obviously, working with a medieval forge that is done with homemade charcoal, you're not making a whole lot of money. You're not mass producing. What you are doing is you're making stuff that is handcrafted with love, heart, and soul, and pride. I see a machine do that. I see a machine put love, heart, soul, pride into a knife. This is a knife that I've been working on for a week now, and as you can see, I'm starting to put an edge on it. Got a long ways to go yet before we get there. But it is getting there. And how's that edge getting put on? With a file. Multiple files, actually. There's two here. These are the two I use most often, so I put them there, staged them for the video, literally. The broken sandpaper belt I use to, scrub. And it works. Everything takes time. If you want good quality hand-forged stuff, it takes time. And I guess that's the difference between what I do and mass production. The chances of me duplicating this knife 100%, very slim to none. There will always be differences. Not all metals are the same. I don't keep track of the hammer strokes. Overall, I just keep track on each side. For each time I'm working on this, every time I have to hit it, heat it up and hit it, I count. And I do it in groups of 10. 10 on this side, flip, 10 on that side, flip. And then if she starts to go a little wonky, get a little fat, put her this way and whack her until she cooperates. The trick is to bend the metal to your will, and that's what I do. The machine just does it by force. I let the metal speak to me, and I go from there. So there's a lot of humanity in this. Humanness goes into this. The machine is sterile. It doesn't care one way or the other. I care about what leaves this shop. I care a great deal because my name is riding on this knife. So bloody well better be decent. Doesn't have to be the world's best. Has to be a good quality knife, and it's hand forged. Yes, he could go get a knife from a store, $50, $100. How quick is that going to break? Look how beefy that sucker is. This is the dull side. This is the top. Look how beefy that is. If you break this knife, you are doing something profoundly stupid with it. Your intentions are to break it. And it will hold an edge. Like, there's quite a bit more to come off of that yet, as you can see. And it is already, I will not run my finger across that because it will slice it open. And it will hold an edge for a very long time. It'll go through a lot of abuse. This is going to be his second knife. This is basically what it looks like when she's just been heated and pounded a little bit. I alternate back and forth between knives. It does get tedious working on the same knife day in, day out, day in, day out. So I like to switch it up. So I started the other day, with this while working on the edge of this. I can do two things at once. So, and if you hadn't noticed, I have an anvil now. It's a piece of railway track. My neighbor Dewey gave it to me. Works better than this, that's for sure. And bonus, remember that vise that I shattered? He welded it and reinforced it, and said I have to be doing something pretty profoundly stupid before it breaks again. Trust me, I'll do something profoundly stupid and it'll break again. This vise is about 25 years old now, so it's seen a lot. This piece is from the railway tracks. I don't even know what they would have used it for. Obviously it's been broken off, but I use it to bend metals. The same with the pipe here between two boards. Put the metal between the boards. As you can see, it's getting quite burnt and scorched. And you whack it and you just bend it. And yeah. So yeah, that question about what drives me to do what I do, this has honestly stumped me. It's a very good question. Extremely good question. We live in a disposable world. Unfortunately, people don't value things. You know, hey, if I wanted to go buy a knife out of a big box store that was mass produced, what do I care what happens to it? If I break it, I break it. Piece of crap, go buy another one. I'm more liable to take better care of a hand-forged knife. You know, normally, well, the person that's getting these two knives got a really sweet deal. He sent a box of antlers in exchange for two knives because he's always wanted a big knife and a small knife with antler handles. And the chance to get antlers, I jumped on that and made the deal with him. That small knife, normally, you know, you're looking at a couple $100. The big knife, a couple $100 more. And so he's getting one hell of a deal. I don't pay for my time. You know, I don't get paid for my time or labor. I get paid for the final product. Doesn't make a lot of sense to people in the corporate world, does it? You guys that work 9 to 5, you get paid for your time and your labor. I don't. If it took me a year to finish that knife, I wouldn't get paid for a year. I've already been prepaid with the box of antlers. So it's on me to get that knife out to them as quick as I can. And that's what I'm working on. Just to get it to there has taken me a week. The little knife, not the big flat one. The little knife has taken a week to get to where it's at. Big one, that's going to take me about a month. But you know, I promised him he'd have his knives by Christmas. He'll have his knives by Christmas. And that's the nature of the beast when you do it by hand. You want quality, it takes a while. So, yeah, I really don't know how to answer that question, man. I honestly don't. I've always been creative. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. What I don't know, I learn. I figure it out. Sometimes I use YouTube. With me, it's more fun to just, okay, I saw this. I just need to know the gist of how it works, and I can replicate it, my own version of it. And that's what I do. Nothing I do is orthodox, standard way of doing things. I do things my way. And the end result is always the same. A good, solid piece of work that people are generally happy with. You know, I'm pleased as punch with. And each time I make something, I get a little better and better, and that's the joy of doing what I do. So, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, buddy. I'm really sorry. You stumped me. I hope the rambling made some sense to you. You know, like nothing I could ever say or do is going to change your mind. You're always going to be into automation and mass production because that's your thing. You know, and nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into. Me, I don't live in a disposable world. Well, I guess I do. I'm forced to live here with you guys. But I recycle and repurpose and reuse almost everything. I very rarely have garbage. I can make anything from nothing. And so can anybody else if they set their mind to it. And that's what I'm trying to teach them. You know, even with these awkward videos and my speech problems, you know, I just want people to put a little bit more value into what they have. Appreciate what they have. Because you know how screwed most of you are if the grid ever goes down. So much for your mass production and automation. Me, I'll carry on. I'll be popular as hell. And people like me and carpenters and other skilled trades, we're going to be in big demand if that grid ever goes down. If you can use old-timey tools. Hell, I not only use old-timey tools, I create tools. So, like I said, I can make something from nothing. You know, how many of you know how to make a boma? Do you even know what a boma is? You can run to Google and look it up. B-O-M-A, capital B-O-M-A, all caps. You'll find that it's popular in 2 parts of Africa and some other parts of the world. It's a structure. Using what's around you. I can build that. I cannot thatch a roof, though. And that really chokes me. You know, because I had grand plans for this little building. I was going to have a thatched roof by the end of summer. Yeah, well, that ain't happening. Turns out I do not know how to thatch. I didn't even know thatching was still a thing. There's a guy I follow on Threads. That's all he does, is thatching. I'm not sure where he's at. I think he's in England or something. I really want to catch that guy and talk to him. I don't even know what to use for thatch. I tried. That's how I ended up with the chimney vent, trapdoor. As you can see, my poor attempt at thatching, and that really went badly for me, so put a trapdoor there instead and built a forge underneath it. That's where the smoke goes, by the way. But yeah. So I don't know, what drives me? I like making people happy. That's the big thing for me. I mean, if I make, like for the veteran fellow that I'm making these 2 knives for him, he knows they're made by hand, that I did my best, that I poured my heart and soul into it, my sweat, a lot of sweat went into it. It gets really hot in here. And yeah, even a few drops of blood went into it. Because, and a few burns. There's a piece of me in everything that I make all the time. Hopefully not blood, hopefully not sweat. Keep bodily fluids to yourselves, folks. But, accidents happen, and, when it's 30 degrees Celsius outside, and it's like 60 degrees Celsius in here, if not hotter, you're going to sweat. You're going to dehydrate. I look like a raisin when I leave here. But, so yeah. Today is just try to answer that dang question day, and I can't. And it's driving me nuts. That is a great question. If you can stump me with a question, then you know you've asked a great question. I'm sorry that I'm holding the camera in one spot, but I'm looking out the door, and I know you can't see it from here, but my neighbor across the way has more cinder blocks, and I wonder what I got to do to get them. Because I would like to do other things next year on top of this. Like I said, I'm building a kiln. I can't say that word, so you have to... Potters know what I'm talking about. The fiery hot furnace that potters use. I'm building one, an old-timey one, back in the medieval days one. I'm also building a small-scale medieval smelter. Because, like I said, I like doing things. And since I'm focused, the camera's focused on that, that is going to be part of wind chimes. Like I said, I like to create things. It's not just all forge work. I make a wide variety of things. Someday I am going to have to make a few of everything that I like to make, and make a video and show you what all I do, or at least make a list. But that list would be endless. It's like, whatever catches my fancy, I will try. I love to learn. I've always had speech problems, communication problems all my life, so I learned to do my own thing, be self-sufficient, try new things. People like to tell you things are impossible. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's impossible, it can't be done. They're lying to you. Yes, it can be done. Nothing is impossible. If you want something bad enough, you'll make it. You'll figure out how to make it. You'll figure out how to do it. And, yeah, like, this is not exactly... Building the forge is new to me. I've never in my life built a forge until this summer. Blacksmithing is not new to me. I did it as a hobby for a good 20 years. And when my first wife took sick, I sold all my tools and gave up my hobby to look after her. You know, you do what you got to do. So for 12, 13, 14 years now, I haven't done this. You know, it's been a good minute. So it's like riding a bike. A little rusty at first, a little wobbly, but the more I work at it, it all comes back to me. And I was raised on a farm, so blacksmithing is nothing new to me. My brothers did it, my dad did it, my grandfather did it. Back then, you know, farms weren't massive like they were now. You know, if you were a pretty well-to-do family if you had 500 acres back then. And we were dirt poor, so Dad and Grandpa and my brothers pretty much made everything. And my grandfather, he's from Germany. We'll leave it at that. You know them, and they're German steel. So he brought that skill with him. He taught my dad, and my dad taught my brothers, and eventually my dad taught me. And I did that. That's how I survived school. Go home, go to the barn, and make stuff. Because school was brutal. When you have speech problems, people think you're stupid. And people are cruel. Kids are really cruel. So, yeah. I learned to be creative. Whatever my brothers did, I wanted to do, so I learned. I wanted to be like my dad, so I learned. I do not want to be like my grandfather. So we'll leave it at that. That's a story for another time, but not on this channel. It's a story to be told on threads in writing, not on video. Anyway, that's about it. So, yeah, just ramblings from the forge today. Kind of taking it easy today because I'm tired. You know, I'm 5'9", I'm 140 pounds soaking wet, and I'm a blacksmith. I am not big muscles yet. I'm building muscles. My wife likes it. But, yeah, and I'm old. So, I get tired easy, so today's more or less a clean up the shop, mount the vise, mount the new anvil, putter day. Get ready, because tomorrow's going to snow. It's supposed to rain in the morning, turn to snow in the afternoon. So I'm trying to get everything winterized. I got to haul in a load of wood yet. Speaking of wood, tomorrow, if rain or snow, I'm going across the way to a neighbor, picking up all the trees that he cut down, dragging them in. So when the snow melts and the next half-ass warm day, I'll be cutting firewood all day. Next week after Thanksgiving, I'm going down the street to pick up 2 cords of wood. That should keep me supplied for most of the winter, unless we have a really brutal winter, which I don't think we will have. Well, then again, this is Saskatchewan. Define brutal. 40 below ain't nothing here, so. But yeah, this is very temperature sensitive, so I will be going through a lot more fuel this winter than I would in the summer, because metal is very temperature sensitive when you're working with it, especially when, you know, you're reliant on fire and coal, or charcoal in this case, homemade charcoal. So, yeah. Got a lot to do yet this week, and keep working on those knives and get them done. I promised the veteran dude he'd have them by Christmas. He'll have them by Christmas. Next week's a new week. Tomorrow I'm making a leather apron for the forge because I'm tired of catching on fire. I've done that 3 times so far, and I'm running out of pants. So I need an apron. And I happen to have an abundance of leather jackets that I've acquired over the years. That's also another story, not for video. Anyway, I'm taking apart a leather jacket and I'm going to turn it in to a leather apron so I don't catch fire. Hazards of working in a forge. Also buys me a little bit of grace if I lean against red hot metal. Don't do that. It hurts. Yeah, so I guess that's it. Sorry to bore you to death with my inane ramblings and broken speech. I'm doing my best, folks. This is therapy for me and keeps you in the loop and amused and makes you thankful you are not me. So, that's that. Until next time. Hope you have a great weekend, folks.